Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this H Day Goes Live with the lovely Darren Ambrose. Hi, Darren.
Hello, guys. Hi, Jane. How are you?
Thank you for all right. Thank you for joining us. So tonight we're talking about planning education for 2021, and supported by Wella professionals. So big thank you to them. But first off, thank you to you, because I know you are literally still at the salon and you have just finished your last client. I am so sorry.
No, I mean, I was telling you earlier, I think all the guys in the industry or anybody that's listening or whoever, right, I think we're all just doing our thing and just grateful to be back, because that last one was horrendous, the last lockdown. So it's just been amazing to be back in and busy.
And fully booked and maybe get Christmas Day off?
Yeah, fully booked and possibly an hour at Christmas. If you're lucky.
Well, I kind of been thinking about this because I haven't done anything yet. So as in I need to get sorted for Christmas. I'm assuming that you and Jax have been super organised and got Christmas for your lovely girls organised pre going back to work, because literally there's going to be no time now, right?
Organised? Me and Jax? I mean, we are kind of organised people, but organised for Christmas, you must be joking. I mean, we have, I think, I mean, we've got some bits and pieces for the kids. We have to, you know, it's important time for them. It's great. And they're so excited. Like anyone who's got kids out there, you know what it's like. It's their kind of time, isn't it?
Yeah, so, it's magical. Absolutely magical.
We're trying our best to fit all that in. We'll get something. Maybe a couple of oranges and a peg doll. We'll see what happens.
Your generosity knows no bounds.
Take it back to the 40s. That's what I say.
You bar humbug, bar humbug. So let's talk about you and your fabulous team. So we want to talk about education tonight, to share with people kind of how you do it, how you make it work. I mean, your team have been hugely successful and are hugely successful. So you've had lots of success in various awards right the way through, including this year. So the lovely Clade getting Colour Technician of the Year.
Amazing.
Yeah. So let's start with kind of, how do you, and I'm assuming it's you and Jax, how do you plan kind of the education for the team and the salon? How does that process kind of work for you?
Well, I think as a company, for our company, we work alongside the government requirements with MBQ firstly, you know, like, I mean, that's kind of standard across the board. We have verifiers within the company and also outside external that come in to oversee sometimes some of the basics and the theory of the foundations of hairdressing. But what we do as a company, we have, like a lot of other people out there too, we have a kind of almost like booklet of hairdressing techniques, fundamental foundation, right the way through to creative, you know, further on in your education, that they have to pass through our company. One, to go on to further positions, but also to then go on to the floor. And we also have them shadowing and bardering, you know, in that situation. So it's very important. We have in-house educators, Clade, obviously, who is our colour, global colour sort of expert for Darren Ambrose. He does a lot of education and soirees with the teams. And that's kind of how we do it. It's very much personable. It's about what we stand for, ethos, and then take the guys very young through the process, which is very important to keep your foundations set. And before you can run, you need to know that steadfast.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is obviously Wella backs that too. You know, there's some great things that they do for the young too. So it's cool.
So it's very much about getting the fundamentals in and the techniques right from the off, because really 100%. You need those.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, I think that's what we've spoken about before. I think when you're choosing this as an industry or a career to go into, it is, I have to say, one of the best, utmost amazing careers you could choose. Yeah. And for any kid that wants to or is thinking of, you know, the best thing is to do your research, you know, feel where you feel comfortable, what's going to give you the best education, but your foundation, your fundamental basics are so important. And don't think you can run and get there within a year, because you can't. It takes time. And it's hard work, you know, it is hard work. As we've said before, junior work is teamwork, and you're there. Your job role is very important and you're very well respected. So it's going to take a bit of time, but just stay with it. That's good.
Do you also think it's true about having compatibility with the salon team and the salon owners, because you really need to share a similar mindset and an outlook for that to relationship to grow?
You know what? Everybody that's in this industry are human, and it's about respect. So everybody in their place within a company has a role and a very important part in driving that company forward, down to your Vardring junior members of staff, right the way through to your creative seniors. You know, we're all in it together, and there isn't any area there for me and also Jackie where you would be any different. You're respected as any normal human being, and that's very important, because at their area of the job, you know, they've got a job to do, which is keeping the client very comfortable, salon services, all those sort of things. Everything comes into it. So yeah, it's very important.
And I think also with your business, you obviously you do a lot of work internationally and in the UK. So how do you do that to get the team kind of shadowing so they can see what's available to them when they're kind of ready?
Well, they obviously first-handedly, we talk very open as a team, and because we've been very connected with Wella, and they offer lots of things. We've been very blessed on what they offer, right? So it's great. The team get involved with lots of things. If there's anything coming up creative, if it's in-house soiree or education, it's involvement in that. If it's to do with, say, editorial shoot, or recently we've done a movie, we did a virtual movie art film. A load of us got involved in that. So anything that's kind of doing, feeling, getting inspired, we encourage everybody to get on the train and just kind of like participate where they can, really, which I think in a way for us, we're very visual people. Like, you know, there's some very incredibly intelligent people in the industry academically, but we are fundamentally visual. We need to see it, feel it, and I think that's what's important. It's encouraging men to maybe move on, and it's quite encouraging men to see where you want to go in the industry. You know, it's a good one to do for all members of staff, and we set incentives as well, so they can work to incentives. Where maybe we will set things within the junior sector, within the color team, within the styling team, within the creative team, and then it's done in a way that, say, maybe our junior members of staff get to participate in sort of shoots or, you know, come and assist on a show or kind of help backstage. So all of those things are very rewarding.
You've also got a hugely successful artistic team. So how do they get into that art team? How do you decide, and how do you mix it up?
Do you know, I think everybody that's with us currently or has come into our house and gone on, we've always said to people that come in, firstly, I want to know where you want to be, where are you at? Like, what do you want out of the industry? And then some of those people come in and they know a skill, a perfected skill, but not everything. And I would, the one good thing is where you can encourage people to indulge into every element of the industry, like whether it be session hair, long hair, you know, cutting, precision, coloring, everything you need to know. And then that encourages you to then maybe push boundaries. You can then step over out the box and do other things. If they come to us with an idea, it's about, for me, it's about listening to them, hearing what they have to say about where they want to go. And then they need to show kind of like a direction and a passion, and maybe material that they give to me and Jackie that we feel confident that they can, one, achieve, but two, that is a good way to push the company into a direction as well as them.
I get that.
But I just think it's about giving people chances. You know, we give back to the industry all the time. You know, I had that pleasure when I was a young kid in the industry, that I had somebody that believed in me then, that helped me to get to a place, which I'm thankful for. And I think that's always very important. It's not about an individual, it's about a team effort. And then pushing that team forward. So hopefully it drives people to be a bit more passionate, and they know they can have it. So it's just
what impact do you think that education has on your business?
Oh, huge. I mean, I think the impact on your time and effort with individuals where seen fit to allow them to grow, allow them to participate in what you do as a company.
Yeah.
Not only does it grow your business from a clientele point of view, because you've got local PR and marketing
Yeah.
that you can get out of that. Um, you know, you've got things like where they can start to be educators within, say, like the Wella studios,
Yeah.
Manchester, London, and in Scotland. You've got areas where they can tap into coming with you overseas. It grows your awareness within consumer and also in the business. So, you know, I think it's one of those things. I think all of it is valuable time and money spent sometimes. That's where you should
Yeah.
your pocket to maybe allow that to grow out and spread your wings a bit more, you know,
Yeah.
allow people to grow with you and help them. It's a bit like the awards, you know, you do something like that. Some people
Yeah.
say to you, you do a colour shoot, or when I did avant-garde, what do you get from that? But actually, you get a huge amount of interest. So
Yeah.
you should never kind of think to yourself, oh, it's not worth it. I'm not going to get, that's too much money. I'm not going to get anything out of it. I think if you guide it correctly, with some of your stuff, you can get the best out of it and be a good unit, you know?
And also, you can platform your team, your business, and who you guys are. It's about shooting for your brand, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
100%, you know, and everybody's in the same boat and we're all pushing our stories forward in the same way. It's,
Yeah.
I think it's nature of the business, really.
Yeah. We got some questions, but I'll come on to those in a minute. I want to ask you, I mean, we've spoken a lot during 2020. I think there is no doubt this is a year that none of us anticipated. It's the year that just kept on giving in the worst ways possible.
Mm.
Um, and that's meant everything's had to change, including education and how it's delivered. So
Yeah.
how do you think it's going to evolve and change for 2020 to 2021?
Well, I think you're right. I think it has to have been I mean, excuse me, but crappiest year ever.
No, it
It's
has been terrible.
going to go down in history, we know for sure. And, you know, like when you think sometimes some of us have been working 7 months this year. I mean, it's criminal, you know?
Yeah.
But in a positive, which we have to look
Yeah.
forward and all that rubbish. We are what it is, isn't it? We are open and hopefully we will stay open, guys.
Yeah.
But most important.
Yeah.
But in that duration, our social media has been growing endlessly for years. Like we know that, and we know what it's about and how it can be vehicled.
Yeah.
Digital education has been around also for a long time. I mean, look at Instagram, look at what we see now.
Yeah.
Look at the guys. I know some of the guys that work with us in Wella, some of the Wella artists, you know, they're posting stuff, it's amazing. You know, it's short videos, bursts of education and creation, and it's a really great thing to do. But it's one of those things that, you know, I think you can vehicle it in a really, really good way. I think it's one of those things that we're going to see definitely more of. I know for a fact that Wella are now offering, you know, free webinars and digital education, which is amazing. You know, very supportive. And they have artists and things where you can do some face to face and some with sort of digital, and that you know, it's incredible. But that's evolving. That's the way of the world. That's how we are. And so I think there's going to be a place for that. Definitely. I mean, I had a job come in the other day where for next year, traveling abroad, they Wella do a thing called Train the Trainer, which is actually training some of the Wella education team, and that's part digital plus face to face. Now that's whether we're back into flying and you know what I mean? Like you never know. But the great thing is now, as long as we have great digital setup, you know, like we've seen, like with webinars and things like that, I think that's the thing. You need to have around you great lighting, good camera. You know, I think the pluses are you reach so many people, you've got a bigger audience, and you can, if you're you know, your expertise and things, you can get out there to a wider amount of people. The only thing is sometimes if you haven't got a good rig up, you don't get as much detail.
Yes.
And you don't get as much the screen gives you a different tonality and color if it's about color.
Yeah.
So that's where some things you might find it's a bit of both, where you can do digital, you need face to face to get the quality.
Yeah,
but
no, I get.
For sure, I think companies, you know, like Wella, they've created, like a lot of people, a great platform for the current situation where they've turned the company around.
Yeah.
Delivering a multitude of great things to educate.
And had to be super agile because there was no time and no warning, that actually pretty much overnight all of the digital stuff had to be turned on. So it's an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
We've had a question from Mark. Do you think digital education will replace as the dominant preference versus face to face?
I mean, it's a hard one. I personally myself, no. I mean, in a sense of, I think it would run alongside. I think it could run alongside in a good way.
Yep.
I think there's definitely a market for it, and it's happening already. But I think in some elements, there's an area where face to face is still craved. You know, like where it's needed in a sense. You need to find the finer detail or feel it and see it, the truth,
and actually touch it.
And touch it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit like we said when we were doing shows, like virtual shows and things like that. Amazing, incredible what people have created, and like London Fashion Week, what they've done, you know, and what they did, and kept everyone united, and the same with the industry. But you cannot beat a live room with a live audience and the actual atmosphere and that electric flipping buzz that you get from all of that. It's just incredible.
And you can't replicate that feeling, can you? That's the
that's right.
Thing. And it's also the connection. I mean, hairdressers are very tactile. It's a very tactile industry, and people, I think, and as humans, we crave being together. That's who we are. That's what we do. So I'm going to go to a couple of questions. So this is a nice one. Maxine MacArthur. Hey Darren, do you and your team ever use assistance from not within your own company? I'd happily assist you guys on anything.
Do you know what? We would, yes, and we do. We have had people before, actually, funny enough. So definitely, like if there's things that come up, maybe also in this country that we've got a show or something like that, then I think the best thing is let's just keep in contact, because
so she can DM you at your DJ Ambrose on Instagram.
Yeah. DJ Ambrose Hair.
Okay, so Maxine, drop him a DM, slide into his DMs, and he will come back to you. And then Carl Hinder's saying he's a coach and he agrees with everything that you're talking about, which is always good. Where would you tell a small salon to start with when it comes to developing a team? So when you first started out and you weren't the D&J Ambrose that we know, because nobody, you know, you were literally new kids on the block. How do you start?
Well, to be quite honest, when we started our company, we had 4 people, and I was very lucky. One came with Jackie, one came with me, right?
Okay.
And that was that was just how it was. And then from that, we built a bigger team, and then a bigger team. And then what happens is, I think, like a lot of leaders, or not leaders in that way, I don't want to come across in that way, but people that are leading a team, right?
Yes.
You start to home in on characters. You're you're like a family. So you're very close in a salon.
You spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, you spend a massive amount of time together. And actually, even if you own multi-salons, you know, you're in that one shop for a while, and then another one, and then another one. And what you do is you start to analyze, like, you know, personalities and people, and kind of what their specialities are and what they're talking about. And you feed them questions, and then where their strengths are and their weaknesses. And then what we tend to do, what we started to do, was balance up the weaknesses to the strengths, so that they become a much more balanced hairdresser. But then you start to really see where they're heading and what their kind of passion and their forte is. That's when you can start introducing to them about maybe backing this side for the company, or doing this for the company, or going on stage if you're a person that craves platform work or educational work. And it's really, actually, like I was talking to you before, listening to people. Like, I think it's very important to listen to what they're saying. Don't dismiss it, or think, oh, that'll happen. Yeah, we'll think about that, we'll do that later. It's kind of just listening and surveying everybody. Bit of psychology.
It's respectful, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
having a respectful environment where people feel safe and comfortable that they can.
Yeah. And then once you've done it, I think you then start to feel the team in their strengths. And what I find that's great is when they bring things to the table, i.e. like then the creative side, you've got a very powerful little unit. And then it kind of starts to roll from there, really.
Yeah. Do you have a signature teaching style, do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I hate that one. What'd you ask me that for God's sake? Oh, hang on a minute.
You've had 12 hours on the salon floor. I'm just going to chuck in a really difficult curveball question. I'll get him.
Well, I suppose if I'm working for Wella, we do they do across the board in different sectors. I teach creative cutting, which is all elements of cutting, obviously in a creative format. So that's covering all aspects of precision, razor, your texturizing, your thinning, your everything that you're doing with hair to create a balanced haircut or whatever it is, looking into face shape and everything. But what I bring to the table, I generally tend to bring in textiles of fashion. I talk about how we incorporate modern day styling, lifestyling with fashion. I also, sometimes I've taken my groups to the National Gallery and I've gone through the history of hair. So I will talk to them about how you can go back to the 18th century, look at, or even beyond that, and actually look at how they created. What's amazing in that gallery is how they can create what they did with the least amount of tools. And I mean, it's incredible, but what's current to today, it hasn't actually changed that much. And it's amazing. And when you take an education for young people like that, they really start to feel or see why things evolved and how they evolved. So maybe a little bit of things like that. And then obviously on the cutting side, the fashion, about makeup, it's a bit of everything to do with lifestyle and addressing the client, addressing like if you're going to go and do session or photographic or show work, it's a bit of everything really.
So you touched on that at the Wella Studios. You teach creative cutting.
Yeah.
So how often are you there? Because I would imagine you're in demand.
Well, what they tend to do is they give you a breakdown of jobs through Scotland, Manchester, London, and then
at the studios.
Right. And then what you find is through your creative cutting placements, you can also have on request. So you might find that you get jobs through, and then say maybe in, I don't know, March, you've got another couple of requests come in because you've got groups of people what need or want educating. The other thing is you can do, I've done before like personal salon groups with Wella too, where I go into the salons and teach them. And other things like that, which, it's a very doable. That's the great thing about Wella, it's very flexible. There's a great studio hub and an activity and a creativity, but there's also kind of national, personable seminars or more personal kind of in-house seminars for each individual really. So, it's quite diverse. I think the packaging and the training that they offer for people that want to do that is very, very widely diverse.
And Clade also teaches now for Wella, doesn't he?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Clay's been teaching for quite a while for Wella. I mean, it's amazing, obviously winning British Colour Technician, which is fantastic. And he does MCE, Master Colour Award, Master Colour Expert.
Colour Expert,
and those sort of thing. He teaches the colour side and the game of that. And he's used a lot in a sense of, I think, with a colour house like Wella, they've got a great portfolio and umbrella of colours. So he can really utilise that. And I think for a lot of kids out there that are kind of touching in on the colour stories, he's a great one to use for maybe expanding, doing the foundations and very basic levels, but also expanding the mind creatively, like the creative side. So yeah, it's good. He's doing that a lot. We've also got Michael that's tapped into men's hairdressing.
Right.
You know, and you've got other elements where you've got loads of different kind of criterias and educational criterias that they offer. So it's good.
No, it's brilliant. And you've obviously also, I mean, obviously you've been hugely successful in the British Hairdressing Awards, but I know it was Krista, wasn't it, that won at Trend Vision. So you encourage the team to enter and support them across the board.
I'd encourage anyone to do anything. I think you're a fool not to, basically. You know what I mean? I think if you talk it, you've got to be in it to win it. Do you know what I mean? I think you don't talk it and then don't do anything, because that just annoys. Because you know what I mean, though? You want to do it, go. Let's get on it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So she said yes, she'd like to do that, and it was amazing. She had a fantastic journey, and obviously she won that. And the great thing with that is we do a global creative retreat where all the platinum winners will go, well, used to, but go abroad, and they would be they would be mentored by some global mentors, and
you're one of the mentors, aren't you, for that?
For that, and it's amazing. I mean, it's money can't buy it for what they experience on that actual week. I think it was a week or nigh on a week of that creative. I mean, it's amazing. You know, really.
And I know from our perspective, she also got the opportunity to shoot the cover of HJ.
I know.
Because she won. So and it was just lovely she was so nervous, but she did you so proud. And I think what was lovely was that it was just the desire to make sure that you and the brand were happy with what they'd done. And you see that with all of your team. You set the bar high, Darren, let's be honest. So it's
well, I think it's good. I think I mean, that's lovely, but we're very close in that sense. I think we all know, you know, it's like everybody out there, you know, it's like we were talking about, when you've got a brand, you know what you want to see. I mean, we are kind of diverse in some ways. It's not just steadfast, that's how it is. We have to kind of branch off a bit. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool, and that's a really cool lesson. I think sometimes the side of it where she had to do a photo shoot for you guys on front cover, and you know,
and you weren't there.
No. Yeah, I was nowhere to be. I think I was chained in a dark room somewhere, not allowed. Can't remember.
Kept you away. Kept
me away. Yeah, but I mean, you know, that in itself, I think, is a great step up, because you have to step up, knowing that that's going to go on the front of HJ, knowing that you're representing Wella and us and D&J Ambrose as a company. You know, it's incredible. I mean, we never had as much intensity when we were younger, which, you know, we didn't do. It was great what we did, but nowadays the kids, you know, when they come on this journey, they've got so much to offer, you know, so it's incredible.
And I think people that get to work with you, I mean, one of the questions, so I'm going to come on to that, you are absolutely known for your session work and your photographic collections, and the film that you shot recently, if anyone's not seen it, it is absolutely beautiful. Marina Vote, I find your imagery very progressive, always ahead of the trends. Where do you get that insight and inspiration from? So where do you go to get that kind of passion and excitement?
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely of you to say so. I think for certain things, it's like everything around you. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but the one for British this year,
which are beautiful.
I was researching things. I was researching the pictures.
Yeah.
And because it was really difficult, wasn't it? Like, I know some of the guys and Sally shot and it was amazing and all that stuff, but some, it was not easy to do that. So
no, it wasn't.
We were looking at pictures and I was thinking, how can you kind of change or evolve it? You know, like, is it to just be that or whatever? Anyway, I think I was saying to you on a Zoom, we were dancing around the kitchen and we have our music on so loud. I am partially deaf, by the way. No disrespect to people out there that are, but I do have a bit of a problem. And I think it's music that we have blaring out so loud. The kids are mental, right? We're all dancing. And I thought, right, when you
Can you live Zoom this one Friday night? Because I'm sure everybody watching would absolutely tune in to see that. I would.
No, I'll have to put some clothes on though. So when I'm looking at this speaker, right, in the lounge, you know, when it starts to vibrate, like if you're old school if you're in a rave or something like that.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, you could tell. You could tell I was going for it. So it's
Yeah.
vibrating, and I thought to myself, flipping hell, it's amazing. It's like mesmerized on this vibration, and that's basically, I think, where the Resound came from. Because if you research Resound, it's about vibration and frequency and the fragmented pieces that it can happen. So when Jenny worked on it, because she's amazing, I love Jen to death. She's great mate.
So that's Jenny Hands for anyone who doesn't know, photographer.
She's so spot on. She's a sound person.
Yeah, she
I think
lovely.
we always chat about certain creative things, and this is something that came up. And so when she did it, it kind of just popped in, and that's how things happen. Sometimes it works. I think I remember Angelo saying, and I agree with him before, Angelo Seminaro, that some things can come very quickly. Some things might take about 3 or 4 months. It's a weird thing. It can happen, or it can just be.
But in that moment, did you know then exactly what you wanted to do?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think you have to, though, don't you? I think you've got a gut feeling,
Yeah.
But and I think what's more important is that whatever you do out there, you do it with passion and that you love it in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's because you can criticize to the day you bloody die, but in that moment it was right, and that's what's important, that you love it and you enjoy doing it and creating it, and then it's cool.
And how do you feel? I mean, how do you feel when you see your pictures on the wall at the gallery, in the British Hairdressing Awards gallery?
Oh, I feel, well, firstly I have to check out where the toilets are, just in case, because I do feel a bit vommy. I can't look at them straight away. I leave them. I don't even look at them. I work on all the other entries and all the other guides, which I have to say this year was amazing. It was really,
they were beautiful,
beautiful stuff. Very difficult to pick anything out of what,
in all the categories.
It's like kind of great.
It was.
And then lastly, I think I have a little word in my ear from you saying, go and have a look. Which I do a 90-mile-an-hour past the pictures, and I very rarely kind of focus in on all of them, and that's kind of what I do, and then I just think, okay, that's done.
Done it.
We go, but it feels weird because sometimes you work on things for so long, and then you see it there. It's like I don't know. It's funny. It's a weird thing sometimes.
But I think also because you've seen yours such a lot, they don't have you probably think, oh, I've seen them, but for everybody it's the impact everyone else gets. I suppose you can't imagine that, and I know, having spoken to Cos and the other guys, they're like, oh, it's just different when you see them there, because you've had them at home every which way.
It's very different, and also because we're a group of very blessed, honored to be involved in that category. You've also got, what you've been working on and what you visualize in your collection. You're also then up against your mates,
which is hard,
side by side, which is a very, very another end of the spectrum where you think, oh my God, look at that. You know what I mean? You're looking at that, and then you're thinking, oh my God, why didn't I do that? And then you think, why is what all that? And then, you know what I mean? So it's weird because it all comes together, but it's a big kind of creative explosion on one huge wall, which I have to say, the room that we worked in, even though it was the Excel building, which was incredible.
Socially distanced.
I mean, socially that's what I was going to say, amazing, socially distanced, but it was like a football pitch, and then you've got this big expansive wall of Bristol. Amazing. It's always cool though. Great.
No, well, thank you. So we're nearly at the back of 2020. I mean, 2021 in my mind has an awful lot to live up to. I think there's a lot of us pinning a lot of hopes on 2021 being bigger, better, more. From an education perspective, what are you really looking forward to doing, either for you or the team, or what's kind of?
Well, we're doing in January, I'm doing an editorial shoot with all the platinum winners for Trend Vision. Which has been sponsored by Wella, obviously. Amazing. I've just been having meetings with them, and it's very exciting. It's going to be amazing. So
I'm excited because we're going to cover backstage.
No, really, really cool. So we're working on that concept on that one. Jack is doing styling, Clay's obviously in the colour house. So we've got a lot of the team involved in that, and it'd be great to meet the guys that have won in person, hopefully, and progress, you know, onto something really cool there. And you know, like everybody really, we've got stuff booked in the studios in London, Manchester, Scotland. I've got some overseas work that's come in that has may incorporate flying, but they're very open to digital as well. I think this is what we're seeing. So it's you're still being able to work, but it's in a digital way. We want to do another movie as a team. We want to get some more education out like that, and we've also got some live events with Canada that we want to do with the education. We also want to make education. We've got some, which we have done actually, but it's like everything, it's getting it right out there. But we've got some in-house education where we want to perform, which is more about the portfolio of things that people could tap into what we're doing and be educated. So yeah, I think, you know, I think we've got to just keep very positive, heads down. And it's never, I always say, right, these kind of things will go down in history, but nothing lasts forever.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, we will remember it, but we'll one day look back on it, and we'll evolve no matter what it is, but we'll go through to being how we were with
no, you're right.
Better things, you know, maybe out.
Better things are coming for us all, I hope. I think that's what everybody's after.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just, where can we see the movie? Marie's asking. Is that on your Instagram?
IGTV on Instagram. So on DJ Ambrose Hair,
DJ Ambrose Hair. All right, brilliant. We've run over. I knew we would, because there's always so much to talk to you about. Thank you so much for joining me. Huge thank you to Wella Professionals. We have dropped in the chat on Facebook where you can download all the education courses and also the education book to the 2021 books out, and that's education.wella.com. Huge thanks to Wella Professionals for all their support. Darren, it's been a pleasure. I can't thank you enough. I know you're tired because you've put in a long day already and a back-to-back. So thank you so much.
No worries, pleasure.
And hopefully see you soon, and sending lots of love to you and Jax.
Yeah, hopefully see you soon, and everyone else in the industry there. So we can get a lovely event together.
Yeah, it will be fab. We all need to get together to celebrate the end of 2020.
Yes, the back of.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. Thanks, Darren. Lots of love.
Bye. Bye.